put together.
I don't know what if you've been following up Barrister Webber, what he has been doing in the area of education. Because of, one of those problems we haven't quite put our fingers on is that education is really the bedrock of development. Until you train the human beings, you're not going to get anything out of that society for today and tomorrow. So it's much beyond the physical building. There has to be other components, teachers, the inputs, the modernization of the educational methodologies, and how knowledge is transferred. Those things are crucial. And if they're not being done, then maybe we're not getting the best of values in our educational development.
Most sincerely, sir, education is the bedrock of every decent society. And I think every leader, political or thereabout, went through the system of education. And any government that which way for its people must concentrate on the issue of education, right from the primary, secondary, up to the tertiary level. I would not really know, I am not too sure how is investing on the growth of betterment of education. But I think about a few weeks ago, I was talking with a friend of mine who the wife is a teacher, a public teacher, not private teacher. Told me that the wife have gone on a seminar somewhere around the John Yegun secretariat, that they are doing a post-primary whatever seminar there, which is being organized by the Edo State government. And I know certainly such seminar will be for the betterment of educational prospects in Edo State. So I would say it's in order if that is on ground. But I will also plead that there must be room for continuous improvement and engagement of those teachers, because either you like it or not, there are a lot of innovations in educational system every now and then. And for us to be at the top the way we used to be then, when Okpebholo and Professor Olonsho Ali was there, was that these teachers were continuously reformed and trained by the government of the day. So we urge him to emulate that style so that he can surpass and pass those two governors in the past.
Let's look into your own area, which is law. Um, Law is about social engineering, let's face it. We must address it. Every other time we keep talking about the law is, or the judiciary is the
Last hope of the
last
common man.
hope of the common man. Never mind all the troubles we're all getting now with the judiciary. So, but something has to be done. One, I want to see more of the separation of powers. And again, the funding of the judiciary, the kind of facilities that are available. One of those notable things I think we must agree is that the revitalization of the customary court, which was a good thing. I'm not a lawyer myself, but I do know the benefit in terms of jurisprudence when you look at English law and look at the customary law. And we ought to be advancing our customary law instead of even pushing towards English law. So I think that's a good thing that has happened in Edo State, the revival of the customary court of appeal. And then what other introductions have come in that you think um, the governor has done within the judiciary area?
Good. The judiciary area, or the judiciary as meant to be, is an integral part of the government. I'm of the strong faith that when the judiciary system is weak, the entire society will collapse. When I got notice of the governor reconstituting the area customary court of appeal, I was among those lawyers that was very, very, very happy. The customary court of appeal is constitutionally empowered, just the way the High Court, the Federal High Court is. I wouldn't know why the then governor decided to put it aside. But since the present governor of the day, Senator Monday Okpebholo, have come on board now to say, yes, I'm reconstituting the customary court of appeal, for us, we are happy, because there are some certain matters which boils down on customary law. And it starts from area customary court. An appeal line from area customary court goes straight to customary court of appeal. But before this recent reconstitution of customary court of appeal, when you are appealing a matter from area customary court, you now file appeal to the High Court, which to some of us, we do not really enjoy it per se. I would say the governor have really done well there. Though we also consider really that there is also this judicial independence on their own. But I think the governor laid the clue to it. As if that is not enough, during this current dispensation of Senator Monday Okpebholo, a lot of innovations are really common in the judiciary system in Edo State. And I must thank him so much. I don't need to be a politician to see what is good. Irrespective of the fact that I'm not a politician, if I see what is good that a particular government is doing, I should be so bold to say it. In this area, the governor has done so well. First of its kind, we have stereographers or stereotypers in court, wherein the judges will not need to write in long hands. You as counsel, that is lawyers, or the judges, or witnesses who have come to court to give evidence, need to pick up their mic and speak to their mic. And the proceedings of that day is already documented. The judge needs to go back home or go back to his inner chamber, and those things will come out in written form, compared to those days that my laws will now write and write and write. When they get home, their arms will be paining them. So this present innovation is a very welcoming one. And I'm of the strong firm that many of Federal High Court's division do not have it. With the greatest respect, I don't think the Federal High Court here in Benin division have stereographers. But we want to also ask, just like Oliver, to ask for more. That same synergy should be extended to the magistrate court and area customary court, so that justice can be winding fast. Because by virtue of this practice now, it has made work more easier for the judges. Even we as the lawyers, you can even apply as a lawyer. You can make an application for a certified true copy or a certified copy of that proceedings, whereby you will also get. So I think it's a very, very, very welcoming development.
Well, like they say, it also turns the wheel of justice and it's speedily delivered.
Yes.
And which is better for everybody, litigants and yes. Fine. Now let's turn our eyes to some other area. Transportation. Etusa, you have also seen that, although it's a difficult argument, I must confess, but whether you can justify it, that would be nice, but let's look at it. When there are all sorts of buses all over the whole place, all the tuki-tuki buses. And one of those things we know in public administration is that you don't do things that the people can do well for themselves. So, but the governor decided to go back to the age of comrade bus, and he decides to create the buses, and then there's new Edo line and all of that, and that's public expenditure. But then you want to ask yourself, are we running at a loss? Are we running at a profit? Is it a wise decision? Is it a good thing?
Yeah, I think it's a beautiful thing. The reason why I said so is because we need to identify who we are. When you see the emblem, the new Edo line, it's something that is an emblem that people will be proud of. It's just like playing for your country, Nigeria. You have the British Airways, you have the German Airlines. There are certain things that we do for value, not necessarily because of profit. But in this case, the new Edo line, you agree with me, is probably one of the most stable transport lines so far. The government invested in it. There was an idea that was spoken about some time ago, and it is something that existed in the past. whereby when you see the Edo line, if you're an Edo person in a different state and you see the Edo line, you can quickly refer to it and say, this is my transport line in my state. And if you also have Edo Airways, it will be a very beautiful thing. So for the government to be able to piece that together with at least 500 buses, utilizing the then Abba Hawaii point that was built by the previous administration, to me, I think it just gives him it puts him on a league of super leaders, because whether you like it or not today, that has employed a lot of people. A lot of Edo citizens has been employed. They've been trained to drive the vehicles in a certain way and manner, and then you don't get most accidents, especially with the way untrained drivers do it in modern society. And if people want to argue that the common people can do it, the sort of training that the Edo line transport drivers get for safety of those that they are conveying is very different from the conventional ones, where people can abuse drugs and drive it from point A to point B. So to me, it could get better. Even with the issues of comrade buses, if you say that, those also plays their role with certain aspects. Because I'm sure you notice that the population gets bigger and bigger. In Africa, we make little African village where a man can have 2, 3 wives and have lots of kids, and at the end of the day, you realize that the infrastructure that we have with transport lines for those that goes up and comes down, maybe they're doing well and then they're not doing well, maybe they're not able to really get real people to manage the transport system, it becomes a problem. So when it's competition, it also helps to drive the prices down. So I don't think transportation is one of the biggest business anywhere in the world. You can agree with me that you can, even if you have a door line, you have more transport lines to come on, they are all fully engaged most of the time. You see what I'm saying? So having an Edo line under this administration in less than a year is something that is commendable.
And something slipped out of your mouth, which I think we should come down to. You suddenly talked about Edo Air. And there was a time we heard about it, that there was a plan to have Edo Air, just like you have Enugu Air, Ibom Air. So there was this plan. Is the plan still on?
I'm very certain that the plan will be on. You see, when the governor assumed office, a lot of things was not right. It was supposed to be okay because the previous administration under the then Governor Obaseki did not hand over to him. He said it on TV that they never handed over to him. So, I mean, you cannot have a government of a technocrat, a man who read classics, who is supposed to be this very enlightened guy who managed resources very well, and he has absconded from the state without handing over to the incoming governor. And at the end of the day, the governor has been hell bent on getting the foundation of the state going. Airline, transport lines, and the line, the roads. Many of the schools, like 70%, was in bad states. I know at the time, Edo State got about $65 million from World Bank on education. And all the previous administration would do was to buy little tablets and call it Edo Best. And only $5 million was accounted for. $60 million went up in flames, untraced. So because these informations are, to a very large extent, they are classified information, and when the government wants to start speaking on those things, people will come at you and say, well, let's forget about the past administration, let's just move forward. I think it's a bit naive of people to say certain things they don't understand. It is not nice or right for an administration to receive support from the World Bank of $65 million to boost and grow education, to stop the young kids from being drug dealers, to stop the young kids from not being engaged, to stop the young kids from not being getting involved in cultism and committing crime. And what you do is to siphon $60 million of that money. They never really hit the state government account. Only $5 million were accounted for. And by the time you were leaving, all the vehicles that was bought to help process and improve in education was bought under the name of consultants, and all these fiscal assets of cars and whatnot was scattered away. They were not properly documented. To me, it has not been very easy. So the government of the day has been focused on what they need to do that will get the ship sailing. So imagine moving from, I keep using these examples of moving from Ring Road to bypass. And people's trucks that invested money on conveying goods keep falling over for 8 years. And when you ask the then governor, he will tell you this is a federal road. But he forgot that in Rivers State, Governor Yesom Wike, who is the FCT minister today, who has done fantastically well in Abuja as well, was spending his money whilst he criticized the then President Buhari as a PDP governor. He spent the state money to intervene in federal roads, just like Okpebholo is doing now with most of our federal roads. And Buhari paid him back. So the then administration could have done that. But then it took the Okpebholo's government to come on board and start fixing Sapele Road before people could have peace, before people could actually enjoy that they felt the presence of a government in the state. So a lot of things was in that state, whereby loads of money comes, loads of loans comes, they keep asking for loans, and at the end of the day, the Edo citizens were not feeling that impact. All we knew during Obasanjo's time, with all due respect, allow me to digress a bit, was on Friday you see a lot of private jets at the airport. They jet out to Lagos, and on Monday you see a lot of private jets coming back. They were wasting our resources and lying to us that they were spending it for us. So on that note, having Edo Air, I believe, is one of the plans that the governor has. I'm sure that the arrangements and the workings is still going on. You know, good things takes time to manifest. And with the aviation issues and having the proper licensing and having the right aircraft and programming into the Nigerian aviation system, with all the challenges with it takes time. But at the end, I think the bottom line is, or the idea is that you have a carrier that carries Edo Airways, Edo line, and being able to manage it and utilize it, it gives us a sense of belonging within the states, and people are proud of it.
Now, the big one that we can't skip is to look at security in its totality. Because there's banditry, there's cultism, there's kidnapping. Everything is all roped in. And we've had this issue for some while. But the administration has been very frontal in confronting this nightmare that has been on for some time. But it could get deeper, could get better, could get bigger, but I'm sure you've seen one or two things done, which you will appreciate.
That's true. The governor decided to take the bull by the horn by fighting crimes in Edo State. To wit, banditry, kidnapping, cultism, armed robbery, and other ancillary offenses, which are all capital in nature, even the one that is not even non-capital. I will see that there is more sincerity in him really fighting crime. About 99% very, very, very convinced from his actions so far. I think some time ago, he read the riot acts to the cultists who are living among us in Edo State here, who refuse to turn a new leaf. First, I think he's on record. He took a very bold action, or an action then, to put some certain persons, some key persons who are key players or supporting this act of cultism here, put them into check. I think that is not even enough. He has also taken a very bold steps, which is quite commendable by everybody, except those persons who do not want the best in Edo. By creating a special court in the High Court to try offenses to wit, kidnapping, armed robbery, cultism. I know when the governor read the riot act, told them that if you kidnap or you are into cultism, you go to any hotel to hold a meeting, I will go there and demolish it. If you go to your house and do cultism, I will go there and demolish it. Those are heavy cautionary words coming from the chief security officer of Edo State. And he has sent a very sharp signal out there to those persons who are involved into these offenses. And by the special creation of the special courts, which I personally have seen, at the High Court. He didn't stop there. He also went to procure special mobile men, more than 30, which I have not seen for almost going to 19 years now that I've been practicing. That for the past 2 weeks now, they now have a base guiding that criminal division. And I'm also meant to understand that he has also made provisions for supporting security personnel to be following those judges who have been assigned to those criminal courts, not only special courts, including the criminal courts, so that will further boost the confidence of the judges. Now, by the presence of these mobile arms men, it gives the state councils, even the defense councils like us, the more confidence to do the business of the day when we are in court. Justice is not a one-way traffic something at all. Justice is for the accused, for the state, and for the victim. So, by all that he has put on ground now, even the blind man can really see that the government is really ready to combat crime. And I think with his help and assistance, the police are also coming to play to do the needful. A few minutes ago, I was in state CID. I could see about 4 kidnappers were arrested this afternoon with arms, AK. So I think that's a welcome development. And in no distant time, when you see that they arrest these people, in a week, 2 weeks, they're already done with the investigation, they bring them to court. The proceeding starts. DPP render their opinion, and they follow it diligently. Now, there's another area I want to use this medium to plead with him, because the governor cannot be everywhere. Those who meant well for Edo, not politically now, should contribute in a positive way. One, we will kindly plead and urge him to provide special interpreters in courts. Because some of these defendants,
okay.
Let me be very, very polite now, because we refer to them as defendants in court, while in the street they call them suspects or thereabout. Some will behave as if they don't understand the language of the court, which is English. And if a defendant do not understand the language of the court, you cannot say that there was a fair trial. And whether you like it or not, fair trial is the cardinal point of dispensation of justice. That's why justice cannot be rushed. They always say justice rush, justice crush. But we also consider that justice delay can also be justice denied. So let them employ special interpreters. Sometimes court will have to stand down to say, oh, let's go and call one Sheikh in so place. I know he can interpret. Or so person like this in so civil court understand Hausa. They will go and bring that person. But if there is a special person that is employed for that purpose in court, that person will pick it up. So these are the lacuna. Then the government should also procure lawyers who might be on pro bono, or that the governor might be paying stipend or whatever. Because these offenses like courtesan are capital in nature, kidnapping are capital in nature, armed robbery are capital in nature. A defendant that is standing trial must be represented by a legal practitioner. It is right. That's why these offenses, if the charges are being read to the defendant, even when the defendant pleads, oh, I'm guilty, it is the duty of the court to record not guilty. Because it is being expected at this point that the prosecutor or the state counsel should come and prove his case beyond reasonable doubt. And if the defendant does not have a lawyer, the wheel of justice cannot grind. And some of them that are involved in this banditry, wherever, they will tell you there are people are in Kaduna, there are people is in Niger, there are people is in Lake Chad. Their family will not come to get a lawyer. And if they don't get a lawyer, matters will not move on. So since the governor has said, oh, within some specific time, he wants the matter to be dispensed with, the court is already there to dispense justice. But the only thing which I'm fearful that might act as a clog on the wheel of justice is non-availability of counsels to defend her. Though I know legal aid is there, then there is a section in the NBA which also procure lawyers or pro bono. But I want the governor to be involved so that I can encourage those lawyers to be defending them so that justice can be served.
In a way, from all your narration, it looks as if we're getting closer to the state police. When the constitutional amendment is made, it means that Edo State is likely to pass that legislation, and it means we're ready for state police. Are we anywhere nearer? Are we restructuring towards that area?
Yeah, essentially, a foundation had long been laid for that before the amendment of the constitution bringing in the state police. Prior before now, even in the last dispensation, there was this vigilante whatever that is still on ground, and the government of the day, over and over, even the last dispensation, have been training this vigilante with the aid or with the assistance of the police and the army, which I know if there is a creation of state police today, I think Edo State will be one of the first states to start theirs because the machinery is already on ground. Even the governor, I could see from his body language, is ready to hit the ground running in that aspect, even by procuring arms for them. At least I could forget. I wouldn't know, or I'm not so sure 100%. There is a lot of reformations that I'm seeing in security architecture in Edo State, very, very recent. I think at the beginning of this week, I saw the arms guard. That is, those arms men.
Oh, the forest guards?
No, not forest guard.
Okay.
The arms guard. You know those persons that carry arms, that bear arms in the prisons.
Okay.
They are not warders. They call them arms guard. Prior before now, when they come to court with inmates, in conjunction with the warders, you see them with the guns that they are carrying, irritating guns. Though I'm not a ballistic expert or the but from a cultural look, you could see that these things are not really well, per se, with the greatest respect. But since the inception of this week, all of them, nearly all of them, you see a brand new guns on their hand. Which I know that the state government might also be involved in that such an improvement. Though I know they have a ministry that is controlling them. So to say, if the state government also creates a state police, this era of vigilante using poor passion on their, but I think fighting crime is beyond poor passion, because these bandits that they are going to meet in the forest, majority of them does not use poor passion or barrel gun again. The ones which I said they arrested some few hours ago that I saw, AK was recovered from them, which they dug on the ground and all. So I will urge the governor to match his word with actions by giving the full support to the vigilante to metamorphose into the state police.